Will everyone please join me in Gassho as I recite the words of our founder, Master Shinran Shonin. There are lotus flowers as large as chariot wheels, growing in pools. Those of blue color emit blue radiance. Those of yellow color emit yellow radiance. Those of red color emit red radiance. And those of white color emit white radiance. They are exquisite, wonderful, fragrant, and pure. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namandat, namandat, namandat. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Sensei.
Thank you all so much for coming to the Tacoma Buddhist Temple today. And I would also like to say Happy Pride. As you all know, well, maybe not all of you, but many of you know, Tacoma Buddhist Temple was privileged to participate in this year's Tacoma Pride Festival. Now, for some of you who may not be aware, Tacoma celebrates Pride in July. Well, traditionally, Pride is celebrated in June. Tacoma and Seattle have kind of a competition, I guess, sometimes, but we don't, for this particular occasion, we don't want to compete with Seattle. So we host Pride here in Tacoma in July, so, people can possibly even go to both. I was privileged to be there for the beginning of it and was able to see so many wonderful, happy, smiling faces and get to interact with the community as well. And it's so interesting because talking about the opening quote today, the Gosandai, I can't help but think of the pride flag when I hear this quote that comes from the Amida Sutra. And then even our wonderful member, Les Hitzman, created the beautiful pride arrangement on the altar that we see here today. And even then, it's like, wow, these are almost the exact same colors as the lotus blossoms that were mentioned in the Amida Sutra, which is something that I will get to in a minute. But in regards to pride, let me just start by saying that in our tradition of Jodo Shinshu, Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion is for everybody, okay? So, it's very important for all of us to remember that Amida Buddha, when we talk about wisdom and compassion, when we talk about the working of the Dharma, when we talk about, Amida's love for all sentient beings, we mean all sentient beings. It means that no one is excluded from the Pure Land. No one is excluded from the Pure Land based on, your race, your sexual orientation, your gender identity. All are welcome to Amida Buddha's Pure Land, or to the realm, I should say, of enlightenment. Many of you are aware of the Amida Buddha statue, and if you're in the gauging, it's probably hard to see the statue from a close-up, and unfortunately only clergy are allowed to come up onto the onaijin, but to see a closer image of the statue, you notice that Amida Buddha is standing and has this mudra, or this hand signal, okay? And in this particular hand signal, Amida Buddha is gesturing to all sentient beings to come to the Pure Land as you are. Come as you are. Now, it's very easy for all of us and for many of us to say here at the Tacoma Buddhist Temple that we welcome everyone. And that's actually part of our temple's, I don't want to say slogan, but our message, right, is all are welcome here. Yet, at the sad but truthful statement about our society as a whole, our members and our family members, our brothers and sisters, and our non-binary members and community members of the LGBTQ plus community are still treated with discrimination and even violence in our society. Anti-LGBTQ plus laws, legislation, are not a past tense thing. It is not a thing of the past. Even sadly, at events like Pride today, there are still those who gather to discriminate and to say who everyone is at Pride is wrong. This is an unfortunate truth of this society today. Yet we must remember, as followers of the Jodo Shinshu sect, that all sentient beings are welcome and embraced by the working of the Dharma. And going back to the quote today from the Amida Sutra, the reason why we are talking about many colors in the many color lotuses in Amida Buddha's Pure Land is to show the vast diversity of colors and sights and views in the Pure Land. All of us are not meant to, here in this room and in society, all of us are not meant to be the same. All of us are not meant to look alike. All of us are not meant to be the same person. And I understand that in Buddhism in general, especially Mahayana Buddhism, there is this concept of no self. But this is not a dismissive term, and we should never ever utilize the Buddhist teachings to dismiss someone's identity or to say who they are doesn't matter. Sometimes I have heard people talk about the Buddhist teachings in a dismissive way that state that, well, because there's no self, your gender identity doesn't exist. This is flatly a very unwarranted and incorrect way to utilize the teachings. It is important that we embrace people as the best of our ability to come as they are, who they are. We may have, even ourselves in this room have our own calculations and our own prejudices. If a person says they're part of a certain political party, we may make assumptions about them. If they say that they are from a certain background, we might make assumptions about them. But this is why it's all the more important for us to listen to this universal vow of non-discrimination when it comes to Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. If Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion can reach all sentient beings, then we as sentient beings in this world can at least try to be better about living in a more harmonious society and to accept people as they are. And of course, this isn't to say that everybody's perfect, right, or that everybody doesn't have flaws, but it is to say that making judgments based solely on a person's appearance, how the way they dress, or how they identify, or what pronouns they use, is a very harsh way of judging people. It is true that we are imperfect human beings, and our imperfectness does come out from time to time. Yet that should not stop us as travelers of the Dharma to do better and to listen deeper and be willing to learn more. And then as a last point for this particular Dharma talk, when we come down to the bare basics of Jodo Shinshu, of our school of Buddhism, when it comes to our spiritual and religious practice, all we do is put our hands together and say, Namo Amida Buddha, or I take refuge in the Buddha of infinite light and infinite life. There's nothing in there that says I have to be this certain way in order to be worthy of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. There's nothing in there that says I have to be this sexual orientation in order to receive Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. There is nothing in there that says I have to be this race or I have to act this way in order to receive Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. I like to think of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion like the rays of the sun. The rays of the sun beam down and shine upon all of us. And it doesn't matter where we are, or it doesn't matter who we are. The sun still comes and shines down upon all of us regardless of who we are. Amida Buddha's love, wisdom, and compassion is like the gentle breeze that gives us some relief in these hot days that are ahead. It doesn't matter who we are. And I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, and I need to really be better about that. Who you are is important. Who you are is celebrated. Who you are definitely matters. What I should say is that the winds of comfort, the warmth of the sunshine, shines down indiscriminately to all beings. as if it loves all beings equally. It is very sad that we live in a society that still treats people differently depending on the way that they identify. It is very sad that we still have people in our society who take pride in the ignorance of not understanding. It is very lamentable that we live in a society where people still experience violence solely based on how they look, solely based on how they dress, solely based on how they identify. These are wrong actions. And no one, and I mean no one, should ever take refuge in the teachings of the Dharma with the feign of discrimination, saying it's okay for me to be imperfect, it's okay for me to be discriminatory towards others because Amida Buddha accepts me as I am. This is a wrong view as well. If anything, Amida Buddha should be a reminder to all of us on how much better we are able to be, how much better we can be. This doesn't mean that I expect everybody, including myself, right, to be perfect all the time, to be 100% all of the time. But I am very grateful that we have events like Pride that in a sense, allow people who usually are very much discriminated against in our society to come out into the sun and to be comfortable with who they are, to be celebrated for who they are, to be welcomed for who they are. And let me tell you and end by saying this. Here at the Tacoma Buddhist Temple, you are always welcome. No matter, well, whoever you are always welcome. Everyone here is welcome to attend service and share in Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. All are welcome here. This is the ultimate message of Amida Buddha's wisdom for all of us, is all are welcome to the Pure Land. This is why we place our hands together and say Namo Amida Butsu. It is a reflection that we are accepted for who we are, as we are, wherever we are in life. Whether you are an 80-year-old veteran, whether you are a transgender teen, Amida Buddha accepts you for who you are, as you are. Thank you all very much for attending. Thank you to our wonderful guests who came by and visited our booth during the Pride Festival. Thank you to newcomers who found us just viewing us on the internet. You are welcome here as you are and for who you are. Please join me in Gassho. There are lotus flowers as large as chariot wheels growing in pools. Those of blue color emit blue radiance. Those of yellow color emit yellow radiance. Those of red color emit red radiance. And those of white color emit white radiance. They are all exquisite, wonderful, fragrant, and pure. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.